finally get the keys, go outside. I step outside. Like I said, it's rainy, it's wet. I'm about to slip and fall all over the place. I step on the grass. This is the biggest snake I've ever seen. So with that being said, I was not able to sleep properly for a couple months because I felt uncomfortable. But the thing is, it's just, oh my God. Why am I crying? Please help me, y'all. I hate crying on camera. That's so embarrassing. This girl trying to touch y'all up on me, and she's just like, come on, come on, come on. Let's go have some fun. Let's go have some fun. Do you want to have sex with me?
Ryan Little.
Hey babes, it's Miree. Welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can tell by the title of the video, I'm going to be doing an updated version of my spiritual journey. Instead of doing it over on my main channel, we're doing it over on my second channel. I'm very scared. I don't know how people are going to react. And not necessarily react. I don't know how people are going to take this, because especially if you are not spiritual or you do not believe in the spiritual realm and the physical realm, anything of that nature, I'm going to sound like I'm crazy. I'm going to sound insane. These are actual things that have happened to me. These are things that I've had to deal with. And I probably do look like a little boy right now. I just have my hair up and out the way because I do not feel like having my hair down and all up in my face. Also, by the way, this shirt, it says most of Miree on it. However, this is not my official merch. I was just testing out the material to see how the shirt would be and stuff like that, just to see how this brand shirt is. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this video. For starters, people ask me this all the time, and I'm kind of scared to say this. Number one, I'm not Christian. I left Christianity like almost 2 years ago now, and I've explained this before in one of my videos on my main channel, my other spiritual video, which it's still up actually, and I'll link it down below in the description box if you want to watch that video. However, I was Christian ever since I was like little. My mother was non-denominational and my dad was Baptist, and they left. However, I don't identify under any type of religion. I don't have a name for my religion. However, something that people would like to associate me with is Hebrew Israelite. Now, it's a lot of controversy whenever it comes to that. I don't feel like arguing with anybody when it comes to that. I just don't.
Also, I'm not one of the ones who like to debate with people, because I don't understand how some of them have the time or the energy. It's literally a waste of time. You will never catch me out on the street like they do, arguing and debating with people. I just don't know. I don't do that. That's just a waste, period.
That's an origin. It's not a religion, and that's why I say I don't identify under any type of religion, because I don't. Even then, I don't say Hebrew Israelite, because whenever people think of Hebrew Israelite, they think of these guys.
The Bible says though these white folks, Chinese folks march at y'all, they are still going to put to death with Christ return. That's right! I am still going to put them to death. That's right! March all they want.
Right now, a lot of these so-called black men, they scared. They feel the repercussions for starting a revolution.
God hates Esau.
Wait. God hates someone?
Hates Esau.
And I'm not like that whatsoever. I can understand and see why somebody would say, oh my gosh, you're part of a freaking cult, because it's giving very much cult. That's what it looks like. It's very much all over the place. I don't want people to think I'm like that. I'm still very much respectful of people and other people's religions and beliefs. Now, whenever it comes to my beliefs, there are people who are in camps. You're not supposed to be in a camp. They're not supposed to be camps. There are people who are under false doctrine. There are some who are very abusive to their wives. There are some who are also sexually abusive towards a lot of people and members of the camps, and it's very weird. And I'm just thinking, you're not supposed to, like, it's not supposed to be like that whatsoever. Like, that's not supposed to be a thing in any way, shape, or form. And I want people to understand that. That's if I get through anybody. And then again, I can understand and see why whenever you say Hebrew Israelite, people will think of that, because that's the main thing that people see. There are some who also think only black people can be saved, which is not true at all. There are also some who think that white people will be like freaking slaves in heaven. I'm just thinking that's very much weird. That's not true at all. Due to all of that toxicity and the things that I just named and listed off and said, I'm by myself. I study by myself. I study alone. I have my family, of course, but I go to them every now and then. But for the most part, I'm pretty much in my bedroom studying by myself and alone. I'm not under anybody. I'm by myself. Now, some people also ask me, why did you leave Christianity? I left Christianity because of its history. There are certain doctrines within Christianity that I no longer believe in or look into, like the Trinity doctrine or the Rapture doctrine. I don't say Jesus, God, and the Holy Spirit. I say Yahusha, I say Yahuwah, and I say the Ruach HaKodesh, which is what are the names that I'm going to be saying in this video. I do participate in the Sabbath, but I believe the Sabbath is on Saturday. However, obviously there are some exceptions to which you may or may not be able to have the Sabbath. I'm not extreme about it. I'm not really extreme about anything, and it's still things that I'm slowly learning and understanding, because I've only been under the belief that I'm currently under now for about since March of 2020. It hasn't been that long. And I'm saying this because there are some people who are, like I've said, there's also a toxic side and there's a nasty negative side. If this very video were to be found by people who are under cancer, by people who are very negative, they're probably going to be trying to be nitpicky towards me or try to be negative towards me. And I'm just letting you know, I'm still learning. Yes, I do read and study my Bible. I want to say this because people were just like, oh my god, how are you, you're not Christian but you still study the Bible. There are people who are, plenty of people who are not Christian but still study the Bible and read the Bible. I also do believe that there have been plenty of texts, plenty of parts of the Bible that have been mistranslated, have been messed up and such, hence why I'm very careful whenever I do read. I don't just go and read and follow the book blindly because it's been manipulated and changed up for so many years. That is also why I always pray before I read. I'm just like, allow the Ruach HaKodesh to sit upon me to understand everything. That's one thing I also want to let people know, because some people think we follow it blindly, or like Christians in general, like not even just for me, but also Christians just follow it blindly, which there are some people who do follow it blindly, but you also have to be wise and have discernment in order to understand what you're reading. Another point, some people have also asked me, no, I've not been baptized yet, but I do plan on getting baptized in the near future. My overall purpose with this video is to just update you guys. Also, I don't want anybody to be offended. My intention with this video is to, any of my content on any of my channels is to never offend anybody, to never hurt anybody, or to make anybody feel uncomfortable. There will be timestamps down below for different categories and different areas that I will be talking about in this video. Also, with this video, I want you guys to learn from my mistakes and learn where I stepped out and where I've messed up. And this is the reason why I went through all of these things, because I personally messed up. I've also been wanting to make content like this for a while. However, one thing that I've been exposed to is whenever it comes to making spiritual content, I have to be I do have to be careful, because one of the things is this might not be my content to make content online about spirituality, like about these types of things, unless I've been called to and told to, or to make a video on a particular thing, then I will. But for the most part, I will be just doing updates like this every so often. And I've even said on my main channel, oh my gosh, I wanted to post content about this and that and the third, and I really wanted to. But the thing is, just because I want to do it doesn't mean that y'all wouldn't want me to do it. So without further ado, let's get into the video for real. Everything really popped off and happened in December of 2020. I'm over here looking at my phone because I have these in like chronological, I have the like events and stuff like that and the dreams and stuff like that in chronological order. And at this point, I started learning a lot more as I was growing, because like I said, I started in March and I started growing and learning a lot more. By the end of the year, I'd known a lot more and way more than what I did back when I started in March. And I was going through a lot emotionally and a lot spiritually towards the middle and towards the end. In the beginning, I really wasn't. Like, I was straight, I was good, I was happy. And the main reason why I was happy is because I remember being on break from school. Even though I still do online, I went ahead and did my work ahead of time. No, I don't remember. Hold up. All I know is I was on break from school and I was happy to be on break from school. As long as I did not have to do any type of schoolwork, I was good. I was also happy that I would officially have time to fast because when you're fasting, you have to, I'll get to that point. I officially had time to fast, and I fasted for 3 days. Did a water fast. And I don't know why I should have just did a dry fast. But I did a water fast. I don't know what, I don't know. Like I said, I did a water fast for 3 days. So throughout those 3 days, I drank nothing but water. I wasn't too familiar with fasting like I should have, like I am now. I wish I was, but I wasn't too familiar with fasting back then in December 2020. So with that being said, whenever you do fast, you have to be very careful. You have to pray over yourself to protect your body and your spirit, because your flesh is very much weak. You weren't putting anything in your system, especially if you're doing a dry fast. Your flesh is very much weak, and the enemy will take this as an opportunity to attack you and to come for you when you're feeling weak and feeling low, even though your spirit is bowing down and it's a certain posture too whenever you're fasting as well. You can still get weak, especially on the 3rd day. I remember being so weak and so tired because I was just drinking nothing but water. My body wasn't taking in anything else. Now I can imagine what it would have been like to do a dry fast. I should have just did like 1 day dry fast. So for 3 nights straight, I did nothing but worship, Bible study, prayer, meditation. Worship, Bible study, prayer, meditation. On one of these, I can't remember if it was the 2nd day or the 3rd day. I know it was not on the 1st day, but I know on the 2nd or 3rd day, I was scrolling through YouTube and it was this one woman whose channel I found. I really felt like y'all truly led me to this channel, because her content did pop up in the past and I never really watched it, nor did I care to, but her videos kept popping up over and over and over and over. I'm just like, okay, I felt led to watch it. So I went and watched it, and one of the videos that popped up that she had talked about were spiritual spouses and spiritual children. This woman, she was Christian, and if that's one thing for certain, it doesn't matter who it is. If y'all wants to tell me something, he will use anybody and speak through anybody, and it'll be very obvious and clear that he's trying to tell me to show me something. The woman's name was Pretty Boss TV. Now Pretty Boss TV, I think she was some type of high priestess. She used to be in the occult, but she left the occult. This was a long time ago, and I think that video was still up on her channel. Click the video. She was talking about how Basically, there are some of us, or those of you who have spiritual husbands, spiritual wives, or spiritual children in the spiritual realm, and you do not even know it. You have no, oh my gosh, you do not even know, you have no clue as to what's going on or what's happening. And that's also due to the fact that I personally wasn't really paying close attention to my dreams. Not only that, my dreams were getting attacked because they were not clear. I wasn't praying over my dreams like I do now. Heavily, very much heavily pray over my dreams, but back then I didn't do it that much because, like I said, I was still learning and such like that. So throughout that process between March and December, I was getting attacked over and over multiple times, but I didn't realize it that they were spiritual attacks like whatsoever. But December, it got hit hella hard. In her video, she talked about there was this Nigerian, I think it was a Nigerian woman, this Nigerian woman, she's a kind of sort of a preacher, but she also does deliverance from spirits and demons and stuff like that. And she said she was watching this video, praying and speaking and talking about the history and stuff, like talking about the history of spiritual wives and spiritual husbands and spiritual children and what they are and how they do this and that and the third and la da da dee, la da da da. Pretty Boss also was talking about how she was, while she was listening to the video, the woman was praying, of course, praying over us and praying over the crowd and such, and she was just like, you're going to, the Nigerian woman, she's like, you're going to cough out the spirit, you're going to yawn out the spirit. And Pretty Boss said that I literally began to cough and yawn out the spirit while she was getting prayed over by the Nigerian woman. So I was like, click the video. I went and clicked the video. I sat there and listened to the woman, and it's separated into two parts, I believe, if I can remember clearly. I'm over here listening, and we finally got to the point of the deliverance prayer, and basically she said, speak over yourself, do certain motions and stuff like that. And she was praying over me, and I'm over here and I'm sitting in my, I remember I was sitting in my bed, computer sitting up, I'm over here, my legs crossed, I'm sitting up straight, I have my arms out, hands out. You would speak over yourself. I'm over here praying, she's over here praying, and as she speaks, she's just like, you're going to yawn it out, come out. I begin to yawn, and I'm yawning for long periods, like I'm like long periods of time. You get to cough it out. I'm over here coughing, and this goes on for a good 45 minutes, and I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious. And then after that, I really wish I was more aware and could feel what was going on around me like I could feel now. After that, I felt really drained and really tired. And like I said, y'all, my body is weak. This is either like the second or third day I just done that prayer over myself, and now it's finally time for me to go to sleep. And keep in mind, I'm over here speaking and telling, now, ooh girl, okay. Like I said, I wish I could have felt what was going on around me. Like I'm way more aware now compared to how I was back in December. There was stuff around me or spirits around me, and I had no clue at the time because, like I said, I'm still learning. But it was very much, they were very much still there. And the thing is, whenever you're trying to cast out a spirit or cast out a demon or cast out anything that is not supposed to be near you or on you in any way, shape, or form, you're supposed to banish it down to the abyss. Otherwise, it's gonna just sit there. It's gonna sit there and it's gonna linger, it's gonna stay around you. And even then, it might go out, find more, even stronger spirits or more spirits to bring back to you and to make your life a living hell and make things way worse than what they were originally. I forgot what Bible verse that was. Hold up, wait a minute. Matthew 12:45. Then it goes and brings with it 7 of the spirits more wicked than itself, and they go in and make their home there within the person. And the last condition of that man becomes worse than the first. So it's that serious, it's that deep. Like I said, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm positive. I told y'all I'm brave, so I'm not stressed whatsoever. I don't have any schoolwork, I'm good. And I'm saying this because there's 3 different types of dreams that I personally experience. Of course, there are dreams that are dealing with my subconscious, and dreams that conjure up because of what I'm thinking and because of how I'm feeling at that very moment in time. Hence why I'm saying I was feeling good at the time. Nothing was negative or anything like that. I wasn't stressed. I might have been tired and sleepy because of fasting, but I was not stressed or upset or angry or bitter about anything. Then there are the dreams that are sent from Yah. Y'all make some now, and in the past I look at some of my past dreams and I wish I had noticed and realized and paid attention that it was Yah sending me those dreams. But now I can of course tell, and it's crystal clear because I've been studying and going into it long enough. I can tell when it's Yah sending me a dream, when it's my subconscious, and when it's the enemy trying to attack me or come for me in any way, shape, or form in my dreams. I'll tell y'all realize and pay attention to the patterns whenever it comes to the enemy's dreams, which I'll talk about. Okay, now getting into the actual dream itself. The dream really began in my grandma's neighborhood. Now my grandma's house is right, let's say my grandma's house is right here, right? And over here she of course has her neighbor. Her neighbor has a gate. There's a gate around her house. Not only that, she has a bunch of dogs. It's like 5 or 6 dogs in total, if I can remember. I haven't been out there in a hot minute. And then back over this way, it's a street. I'm physically running. I'm running up and down the street.
I don't know why I forgot to say this. I'm running because I'm getting chased. I'm getting chased by the dogs that I was just talking about, basically. I don't know why I didn't say that, because when I'm running in my dreams, I'm not running for no reason.
As I'm running up and down the street, I hear laughs. Sounds like people are like laughing and making fun of me and just watching me run up and down the street. And I'm looking around, I'm just thinking, who is laughing at me? Who is laughing at me? There were no physical, like I couldn't see any other figures or anything like that, or like people. And it gets louder and louder and louder and louder. And as I'm running, 5 of those 6 dogs were chasing me. I'm looking around this time trying to figure out who was laughing at me, who was laughing at me. I'm looking over at my grandma's yard. I'm looking over my grandma's neighbor. There's nobody, like a person in the neighbor's yard that's laughing at me. There's one dog just sitting there. Like it's just sitting there watching me the whole time as I'm getting chased up and down the street. I remember being horrified because whenever it comes to dreams, y'all know just as well as I do, they feel very much real. They feel like they're real life. That the dream shifted. Sometimes I literally have like 3 to 6 dreams a night. So they're really like jumpy, like they're jumpy, jump from cut to cut to cut to cut, and I don't remember every single thing in my dreams. So let's move to the second part of this dream. I am in, again, my neighbors, we're still in my grandma's neighborhood, and I recognize the house that I'm in. I go into, again, my grandma's neighbor's home. I remember and recognize the house because we've gone into her house before. It was only one time, but I still remember how it looks. I'm inside. It's very dark, it's dingy, it's food everywhere, it's cans everywhere, it's pizza on the table, like a pizza box on the table. The floor is dirty. While I'm walking there and standing and looking around, there's a TV over in a corner, right? There's a couch this way. There's a couch this way. There are 2 people sitting on this couch this way. There's another couch. There are 2 people sitting on this couch over here. So there are black figures. There are 2 black figures on this couch, and there were 2 black figures on this couch. And I can't, that's one thing for certain. Whenever it comes to people or like figures in a dream or people in a dream, whenever I see a face, pretty much every time I see a face in a dream, it's somebody that I know, somebody that I'm close to, or somebody that I have been close to, and that is it. If it's a random, I've never seen a random person's face before, like in my dreams. Every time it's always been blurry, whether that be with the subconscious or whether that be with the dreams y'all has sent me, or whether that be with the dreams that any of you has sent me. Unless I know the person, I do not see their face. So these people, they were black. They were completely black. Like it's literally black, like no clothes, nothing. They get up. Of course they have like a full-blown body, but these were built like men. Like they were built like grown men, and they were like, they basically got up and they were making their way towards me, like 2 over here, 2 over here. They got up and they were making their way towards me, and I'm just getting scared. I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious. And the thing is, whenever you're sleeping in the dream, whenever you try to fight back, it seems like it's impossible to fight back. Or whenever you're trying to move or run or something like that, it's very like you move slow and you run slow. I don't know why my dreams do that. They get up on me, they're hugging and touching up on me, rope me or grab me. I'm just really uncomfortable and I'm freaking out, and I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious. I'm trying to move and shift the best I can, but like I said, I'm moving slow. I don't know why I'm moving slow, but that was just very uncomfortable and very strange to me. Now shifting to the next part of the dream, I transferred. I'm no longer in my grandma's neighborhood. I'm in some type of bathroom. I don't recall or remember this bathroom in particular. Like out of all the apartments that we've lived in or homes that we've been in, I don't remember this bath. So I'm sitting on the toilet. I'm not going to the restroom or anything like that, but my pants are freaking down, my underwear is freaking down, and while I'm sitting, it took a minute to register, but it's somebody sitting underneath me. So it's the toilet, it's a man, it's another man, and he's sitting down, his thighs are spread out, I'm sitting on top, his pants are down, and I'm just like, oh my god. So I'm sitting here half freaking naked on top of some man, and he's touching my lower regions, like the front and the back, inappropriately. I don't know how I was able to. I craned my neck back and I look back, and like I told y'all, the only time I see people's faces clearly is if I've come across them in real life and personally have known them. I look back, I crane my head back, I look back, and the person who was touching me inappropriately was a man who had touched me when I was 6 years old, and I'm freaking the out. I'm trying to move and I'm trying to shift. He's like, everything, like he's whispering in my ear, everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be okay, and while continuously still touching me, while he's whispering in my ear, he tries to penetrate me from the back, and I'm just like, oh my god. I'm just like, what the freak, no. And again, after this, the dream shifted. I'm in another bathroom, and of course I don't recognize this bathroom, but it looks completely different than the first bathroom. I'm using the restroom on the toilet again. I'm actually going to the restroom, like I actually had to go. So I go to the restroom, I'm washing my hands, like the door is spring wide open, and there's this, I'm not gonna say who, but I can most definitely see his face because I know this man in real life. Slid the door open, he walked in, closed the door, makes his way towards me. I'm backing away and I'm just like, whoa, what are you doing? Him too, trying to like grab up and grope me and hold on to me. And I don't know how in heaven's way I somehow ended up having a weapon in my hand. I don't know where the weapon came from. Before he could even try to like go any farther than what he was going, I ended up smacking him and hitting him. And for some odd reason, like, you know, dreams just are kind of sort of weird. As I smacked him and hit him, he broke into like little tiny pieces. And it wasn't like flesh or anything like that, but it was just like little pixelated tiny pieces. And he broke and fell into tiny pieces and he went it down into the drain. I don't know, like I said, this bathroom is very weird. I don't know if this was a public bathroom or something like that, but I like, you know how some bathrooms have like a drain at the bottom, you know, like say for example with a bathtub, or if it's like a shower or something like that, and it's a shower drain like in a public restroom. It was like one of those types of drains, but it was like in between the toilet, in between the sink, but it was up farther, and he was just going down the drain. And I'm just like, I was very confused. And after that, I woke up from that dream. I'm up, I look outside, it's pitch black out. Look at my phone, it's 3 o'clock on the mother freaking dot. Between the times of like 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., those are like witching hours. But the spaces between the physical realm and the spiritual realm are very, very, very thin, and that's when a lot of things happen spiritually. One of the many reasons why I know that that was mainly a spiritual attack. Y'all was like, pray. I heard pray. So I began to pray. I was over here praying, crying at my door, and I know my brother more than likely heard me. He didn't even bother coming into my room, and I'm very happy that he didn't, because he knows not to like come up in my room and bother me whenever I'm trying to pray, especially when it's like a heavy prayer. So I'm praying, I'm crying, I'm praying, and I'm Bible studying, I'm reading my Bible, and I didn't go to sleep officially until like 8 o'clock in the morning. Like I felt so freaking tired. And these dreams, these snippets, these very, very, very vivid, like it's still ingrained and stuck because of how scary they were for me. They were very traumatic for me and they felt very real. So with that being said, I was not able to sleep properly for a couple months. I didn't feel like going to sleep in the nighttime, and I remember my sleep schedule was messed up. I would go to sleep during the daytime and I would stay up all night long, and I would be of course praying, reading my Bible and stuff like that, but I would be horrified to go to sleep because I didn't want to get attacked or anything like that. And again, I didn't understand properly pray over myself and feel fine and feel protected at the time. Like I don't know what my problem was. Like I was shook, like I was scared. And then the thing is, we're not supposed to be really scared, whether you're under my beliefs or whether you're a Christian. Whenever it comes to spiritual attacks like that, you're not supposed to be, you're supposed to, if anything, you're supposed to fight back and defend yourself and not be scared of anything. The main reason why I was getting touched inappropriately, or like people were trying to grope and hug up on me, most of the time when people are trying to touch or trying to hold hands, try to give a kiss or try to give a hug, or even if you drink something or if you eat some type of food or accept something, that's some type of covenant being formed in the spiritual realm. And eventually what happens in the spiritual transpires into the physical, and it can ruin your life. Now we're shifting to the point of where it's like late December to like early March, or mid-March, late March basically. And I remember it being so freaking cold, because all I think about whenever it comes to February and March is the amount of snow that we had, and we were basically locked up in our houses because we weren't able to go anywhere. People's powers were getting cut off. Like once January it hit and stuff like that, it was very chaotic. Between this time, I was of course getting dreams. Y'all was sending me dreams, y'all was sending me visions from myself, and also the enemy was trying to come for me and trying to attack me. And these have happened so often, and at that point in time I was really able to tell the difference between the two and tell which was which. And also y'all was sending me visions and dreams about my friends. Well, of course I'm gonna get to that point later on, but at this point in time he was sending me dreams, and I'm looking down at my notes, he was sending me dreams and visions about my friends and such. Now I do want to go in and tell y'all a bit more about other dreams that I've had. Wait, we can start with the first one. The first one, it was separated into two parts. Like the first part isn't as important as the second part, but the second part, I was swimming in a big body of water. I also remember, I think I recorded a voice memo for this one too. Hold up, let me go see, because I think it was in January. Hold on one second. Yeah, it was January 1st. It was January 1st. That's so crazy. Okay, so I'll put a snippet of the voice recording so y'all could hear it. I was in a big body of water, and I wasn't at the top, I wasn't at the very bottom, but I was very much in the middle. And I looked up, I remember looking up, and I had seen this boat basically swimming up, and I'm trying to get back up at the top. I'm out of the water, I'm looking over at the boat, and on the boat there was like these funny looking, I really want to put the voice memo so y'all can hear it, because I can't explain. You know what, hold up. And just an FYI, because I'm going to put like the voice recording over these next few clips after this right here. I just woke up when I recorded this. I sound horrendous when I'm like first waking up. Like my voice does not sound good, so it probably sounds raspy, and I'm going to try to like, you'll hear it, but I'm just giving you a warning, I don't sound good. There was a second part, and it was like this ship. I can't remember what the ship said, but it was a huge ship, and I was underwater and I was trying to swim up,
Child, I don't know what this is. I was underwater. I was trying to swim up. And once I finally get... Wait, no. Yeah, once I finally get up and get on top of everything and look at everything, like I'm on like a shore and the ship's still coming. Like, ship just stopped. And it's these dancers. It's like they're doing this weird dance with one leg. It's some dancers struggling to dance. Some dancers were sinking. Some dancers were just floating. And there was a few dancers dancing against the side of the ship. One of their legs was on the ship and one of their legs was off the ship. And their leg was going back, up, back, like it was a flowing back or something like that. It looked weird. I don't know what they had going on. And then I remember somebody saying, watch what you attach your spirit to. I don't know. I don't know what that was or what the deal with that was. I feel like the water has representation to it because there was a lot of water. I was under
it. I will get to that. It does. And I look back on that voice memo and everything that really does make sense to me now, and why what was happening in the dream was happening in the dream, and why that person told me what y'all had just heard. Also, with the first part of the dream, even though I didn't put that snippet up in here, I will say this: we were in a familiar area. We were right near my old middle school. Now this next dream was again in my middle school. Now my older middle school had 2 floors. It had a separate building, but the separate building was 2 floors. But that building had extra floors, like extra high. It looked like it had 70 plus floors. And I was going through, I'm in the building, I'm going through and going up the stairs, and I finally reached the top floor. Like, this was very weird. I enter a room, it's like the top floor. I enter the room, right, walk over to a window. Like, it's, how can I need to set the room up first. So it's like, okay, you enter through the door. Here's the door. The door is like glass. It's like glass. It's clear, see-through. Like, you can see through it, everything in between. And it's another room on the side of that room, of the main room that I was walking into. Walked into the door, walked in through the door, go sit down. There's glass everywhere. Like, the room has nothing but glass. I get up, I'm going forward, and for some reason there's this pool, y'all, water. Going over, look at the pool, I'm looking down. I look in the water, I see my stepdad. He's sitting on the side, like sitting on the side of the pool. I see my mom. She's swimming in the pool. I see my brother. He's swimming in the pool with my mom. And my stepdad's looking down laughing. Ha ha ha, he he he. Like, they're all like chipper, happy with each other. The water's crystal clear, by the way. I just want to put that out. The water, again, here we are with water. The water is crystal clear, by the way. I'm like, okay, why is there a pool near my middle school? Like, why there wasn't a pool near my old middle school. But then again, this is a dream. Anything can happen in a dream. I'm looking it over. I go sit back down. Some told me to get back up. I get back up, walk over to the water. I look back down into the water. The water is dirty. It's brown. My stepdad's, this time he's in the water now. And my brother and my mother are still swimming. They're swimming as if the water isn't dirty. Like, it's cans, it's wrappers all up in the water. And I'm just thinking, why are they swimming in this dirty water? I'm like, do they not know that the water is dirty? And I'm guessing they didn't know that the water was dirty. I back up, look over, like, remember I told you now, it's glass. It's clear. It's crystal clear. I see through, and there are some people in the room. Like I said, there was a room on the side. There's some people sitting over in the room, and I don't remember how many it was, but it was not too many people, but it was like a table. Like, it was a table, and they were huddled near the table. I look over bodies. I'm looking at their bodies. They shift. It's like they shift, because keep in mind, I can't see faces. I can't see faces. But I'm looking over at these people, and I could tell that they shifted their bodies enough to where it's crystal clear that they're like looking over in my direction, even though I'm not able to make eye contact with these people, because I don't know these people. Like, I haven't come across these people in real life. I wake up from that dream. The next dream, I'm looking over here. This dream was very short, but it was with my old friends. 3 friends that I basically cut off. We were literally sitting, let me show y'all. We were sitting right there. I was sitting right here. They were sitting up on my bed. We're over here having a regular, normal, like, conversation. And then all of a sudden, like, excuse my French, one of them was just like, oh my God, yeah, like, Yahuwah. And I'm just like, huh? What? I'm just like they were basically saying blasphemous stuff, like saying rude and horrible things. And they were looking at me, expecting me. I did not speak. I just sat there and I was just like, I'm very much confused. I was very lost, and I'm just thinking, what are y'all, why are we talking about the higher power that I believe? Like, where did this come from? And they were just talking crap about y'all. Well, I'm just sitting there and I'm just listening, like, what are y'all, but like, they expected me, and they were just sitting there looking at me, expecting me to talk crap to like talk crap about y'all with them, or to like talk about the ruach. And I'm just like, you're crazy if you think I'm about to sit here and say all these things that you're over here saying and being in agreement with you, because I'm not. And there was nothing but the enemy. Like, then the next dream, it was me, my mom, and my stepdad. I don't know where my brother was. I remember it was dark outside, it was raining, and it was, you know what, that's exactly what it was. It looked like my grandma's house, like my grandma's, like my dad. It looked like my grandma's house, not the grandma's I mentioned earlier, but my other grandma's house. It looked exactly like hers, like the setup with everything, just like her house is set up. I'm over here saying this like y'all know how my grandma's house is set up. Y'all don't, but it's just things are slowly like coming back to me. So we're sitting there, I'm sitting on my grandma's couch, my stepdad is walking back and forth, and my mom is sitting at the stove cooking. My stepdad, he's like, yo Taylor, go this, not to mention, I will, you know what, I'll finish and get to that when we get this. He's like, yo Taylor, go outside and go get this and then go get that for me. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know why he wanted me to go get this. I don't remember what he wanted me to get. I know he wanted me to get something. Regardless, he wanted me to go outside. He didn't want me in the house anymore. He wanted me to go outside. I look at my mom and look at my stepdad. They do not look very happy towards me. They look like they're plotting and want something bad to happen to me. Smirking, evil, like mischievous smirk on. I finally get the keys, go outside. I step outside. Like I said, it's rainy, it's wet. I'm about to slip and fall all over the place. I step on the grass. It's this fat, this is the biggest snake I've ever seen in my entire life, in my dreams ever. It's this fat, it looks like a python. It might have been a python spirit. It was this just fat snake just sitting right in front of me, slithering, just going on. And it looked at me. It was looking at me and paying attention to me, but it was just slithering and looking on, and I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious. And keep in mind, the thing is, when it comes to dreams, the dreams feel hella real. Like, it feels like real life. And then for some reason there was this fire truck out from the distance, and there was lights flashing, and it was snakes everywhere. But the one that stood out to me the most was that fat python looking snake just sitting in my grandma's front. Like, it looked like my grandma, like I said, it looked like my grandma's house, but it also looked similar to her front yard. The snake just threw me off completely, and I'm stepping, trying to go get whatever my stepdad told me to get. And there's smaller snakes around the python snake. I had to step over the python snake. It's smaller snakes around the snake, like the bigger snake, trying to get towards me. I remember waking up, I've had multiple upon multiple dreams of where it's been nothing but big fat snakes trying to come up on me, or trying to bother me, trying to attack me, trying to eat me. But I've never seen a snake that big ever in my dreams, like ever. And that's why my stepdad was, I'm sorry, I'm getting my blanket. That's why my stepdad was looking at me that way in the dream. Like, he knew what I was going to step out into. Obviously that wasn't my stepdad in the dream, but the spirit, whatever that spirit was, knew what I was going to step out into and go towards or face when I stepped out, like when I had gone outside. Same thing with my mom, because she had a weird look on her face too. Now this next one was also in a familiar area. Over in my city we do have a reservoir, like a big body of water, and that's where I used to live. Like, me and my mother and my brother used to live in condos over there, and we would go out and enjoy ourselves. Like, we would go out and go for walks and stuff like that. But this was of course in that area, and over near that area there's a park. Now I'm over here setting the scene so y'all can see or like and understand my vision and stuff like that, even though y'all probably won't, but you get the point. There's a park, very hilly, there's a road, right? And then there's an entrance to the park. There are two entrances. There's an entrance over here, that's the second entrance, and there's a first entrance with the gate. And of course up here it's like a hill. Like, up on these entrances there are hills, and of course it goes down, and then there's another hill within the flat part of the park that goes down, if that makes sense. Kind of sort of like that on both sides, with the second entrance and the first entrance. But I really entered, the first part of this dream started at the second entrance. So at the second entrance there are a bunch of trees and stuff like that, and I don't know how I guess I was walking, and somehow, some way, my hands and my wrists were latched up onto a tree. My hands weren't holding onto the tree. It's as if I don't know, it's just like everything was like I was like holding on tight to the tree, like I was forced to. Like, I couldn't move, I couldn't let go, I couldn't just let go and just drop down to the ground. It's like I was glued to the tree. Due to the fact that I was glued to the tree and I couldn't move, I don't know where the heck this snake came from. It wasn't as big as the python, but it wasn't a small snake either. It's this snake that comes up and it slithers all up on my upper body, and it's going up on my back, and it's slithering all over me. It's just sitting there latched onto me, and the smaller snakes on the ground and the smaller snakes up on the tree. Like I said, I'm over here latched, and they're crawling and slithering up on the branch that I'm connected to. Like, the dream did shift, but this shook me up the most because it felt like it was a real life snake just slithering up on me and touching up on me. Like, I wanted to freaking cry. After that, the dream shifted, and I'm over here down over at the first entrance. Like I said, the first entrance has of course the hill. It goes down, and it's the flat area, and then it's another hill, and it goes down to the grass. It's closer to the water, and that's where I was. Water, y'all, water. I'm going through, like, it's like I'm on a raft. I don't know who I was with. I think I genuinely did know the person, but the person who I can't think of it because this dream was such a long time ago. It was somebody that I did know, like I actually knew them in real life, and I remember seeing their face, but I can't think of the name. We're on the raft. The raft is like a piece of cardboard, and it's like, you know how there's a shoebox and there's a lid of the shoebox, and it's like flat, like it's flat up at the top and it's flat on the sides and it's flat over here and on these sides. That's how it was, but it was flipped upside down and we were on top of the raft. I don't know how it did not break in the water, but we were shifting and going in the water. Whoever it was, they were shifting and taking us through the water. Now mind you, the water was dirty. Like the water is already dirty. Like in real life, the water is dirty, but it was beyond dirty than what it normally was. It was cans, chip bags, candy wrappers. Like the water was disgusting. Alligators in the water, snakes slithering through the water. I'm just like, this is beyond disgusting. Please do not let me fall up in this water. We get off the raft. We're going back up on land, and like I said, we're going up the hill. Like I said, it's like a hill, flat, and then another hill and going down to the water. I'm going up the hill. I'm going back up the hill, and it's near concrete actually, away from the water. As I'm going up the hill, I see these two girls. Of course, can't see their faces. They're freaking blurry when they actually get face to face towards me. There's these two girls in a golf cart. I'm like, where did they come from? Like, where do they hike? Where are they in the golf cart? Because I've never been like in real life. I've gone to that area. I've never seen anybody over there with a golf cart before. One of the girls gets out the cart and she's trying to touch, like mind you now, remember I told you, whenever they're trying to get some type of contact with you or like to try to touch and get all up on you and stuff to form some type of covenant with you, this girl trying to touch all up on me, and she's just like, come on, let's go have some fun, do you want to have sex with me? I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute now. I threw him out completely, and after that I woke up out of that. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I noticed and eventually picked it up after a while. There were patterns in my dreams, and it took me for Taylor Young's little mind to figure out the patterns in the dream. Number one, even though this isn't a big category, the reason why I kept saying particularly dogs chasing me and snakes, spiritual attacks obviously, especially whenever it comes to snakes. Like that's one of many reasons, or like one of the many things I notice whenever I'm in a dream. One of the things that give me like immediately, like I realize and recognize while I'm asleep or in my dream that, okay, this isn't me, this isn't y'all, this is a spiritual attractor, something trying to come up against me. Like, cause I've seen them so many freaking times. Y'all remember earlier I was talking about my dream back in December of where like I was getting chased by 5 dogs, and one of those 6 dogs were sitting there and watching me the whole time. Dream of where I was in my older middle school, and it was in those super tall high building, and like I said, there was a glass everywhere, and there were people in another room across from me who were shifting and looking towards me. Those things in particular, they were monitoring spirits, and they do exactly what the name is. They monitor what you're doing, they monitor what's going on and happening around you. And not only that, monitoring spirits can be around for a long period of time. Of course, you can deal with them and ward them off and get rid of them. That's one of the things that I did not learn about when I was in Christianity, that monitoring spirits were a thing, and they are very serious. I'm reading off my thing. You also notice how these dreams took place in areas that, like I said, were familiar to me, or old places or old homes or old locations. Well, from what I've learned and what I've paid attention for me and what has happened in my life, in the physical and in the spiritual, what I've seen, normally whenever I am in an older location or a location that I used to live at, or a family member or old family member's place, is normally a spirit of setback, a spirit trying to set you back and whatever you're trying to work towards, or whatever you're trying to do to keep you stagnant and to keep you there and stuck. And they can be very annoying. Now, the last pattern, of course you might have picked up on it because I kept saying it, is water. Water was everywhere. Water was in a good chunk of my dreams, and even within the past like May and June especially, water was hella in my dreams. For the longest time I never understood why there was water in my dreams, and I asked, yeah, I'm just like, why is there water, why is there water popping up? Like, why do I see water everywhere? And eventually I realized it's nothing but marine spirits. You would have to go off and do research on your own whenever it comes to this. You know, the kingdom of heaven is separated into different categories and has different areas. The same thing is with the enemy. Different sections of their kingdoms, basically. Like, there are different types of angels of heaven for different things. There are different types of angels whenever it comes to Hashatan, like I say, or the enemy, when he has his stuff separated, just like how Yah has his stuff separated and set up. He copies Yah. Or one of the biggest kingdoms that he has, or biggest sections that he has, is the marine kingdom. And even then, the marine kingdom is set up and separated into different categories of itself. There are different legions, there are different types of marine spirits. Most of the time whenever it comes to marine spirits, it mainly deals with less sexual immorality, things of that nature, basically. And we're going to get into that because that's something I most definitely need to hit in this video, and part of the reason why I kept seeing water every freaking where and was getting attacked. Like, saw the alligators in the water while there were snakes slithering and all up on me and such. Whenever it comes to warding off or fighting, they're very annoying and very stubborn. Not even just with the snakes. Whenever I'm asleep, if I see water, automatically I'm on high mother freaking alert. I am like up and at it. Even though I'm asleep, like my physical body is asleep, I'm aware that I'm asleep in a dream, but I already know what's going on and what's, like, not necessarily exactly what's going to happen with what's going on around me, because like I said, that's something that I prayed about, is to have discernment when I'm asleep. Like I said, there are levels to them, and there are different like lesions and stuff like that. A lot of them do end up working in groups. Say for example, when it came to my dream earlier back in December, of where it was the 2 figures, like black figures, like 2 over here and 2 over there, because by themselves, some of them by themselves are very much weak, so they have to work in groups in order to come for whoever they need to come for. Now let's talk about backsliding, because I remember when I had mentioned this up on my spam account, I was talking about this, and I said one of the things that I was going to talk about is backsliding, and people were saying, oh my gosh, same, this has been happening to me too. I've been backsliding. I don't want this to be like a conversation of where we like,
I explained it horribly in the video. Basically, I do not want us to get into a position or be where, oh my god, I'm sorry, it's late, where we're comfortable with backsliding. Like, I don't want us to be able to find comfort within each other. I mean, yes, we can of course comfort each other and find comfort within each other, but when it comes to this, I don't think we should find comfort in each other and be like, okay, I'm not the only one doing this, because it's really bad if you really think about it.
But I would also still like to have a discussion of things that have happened to me as to why I backslid, and they're my own fault. So the first one, like I said, I'm looking at it, social media and phone time lead to slothfulness and laziness. Girl, oh my god, okay. And this doesn't help considering the fact that my job is social media. With this, I have to force myself to have some level of discipline. I really do have to force myself to get up, put your phone down. You need to go do this work. You need to go read. You need to go study. And that's another reason. That's one thing I was praying about, and I was fasting about it a couple weeks ago, that I needed help. Like, this is something that I needed help with. And one of the things he told me, babe, I'm over saying he. Yeah, it told me, delete TikTok. That's one of the things that took up most of my time, was TikTok. And that's one of the things that you might have to end up doing. If you ask him, hey, how do I do this? How am I going to be able to fix this or get out of this situation? Or how am I going to be able to improve myself in this area? He's going to tell you to get rid of stuff, to cut people off, to delete stuff. You have to have some level of self-control and discipline, which sometimes can be very, very, very hard. When I'm on my time and I'm on social media all day, that can, and then I feel like crap after being on social media all day, and that leads to slothfulness and laziness and idle time. And that's when the devil loves to play with people, is in idle time. And one of the things that I have most certainly been praying about is to be more present and in the moment, and to appreciate the now. Basically, that includes, of course, putting my phone down, getting my phone out the way when I go do specific things, and not having my phone on me all the freaking time, because that can lead to me just being lazy. And it also doesn't help that the apps that we use were purposely set up to be addictive. I said I was going to talk about this with sexual thoughts, lust. Now this is something I most definitely struggle with, as well as masturbation. And I feel like there have been women, like there have been girls and guys especially, who have DM'd me and talked to me, and they're just saying, oh my gosh, I'm struggling with this, I need help with this, I feel like I'm by myself. And I promise you, you're not the only one. I promise you're not the only one. It can feel like that sometimes, and I feel like it's especially bad and heavy on women and girls, because growing up, especially while you're in the church, and this is another reason why I left the church, there's so much pressure on girls and women to be pure. Oh, you can't think that way, or you can't act that way. It's disgusting or inappropriate for you to think that way, or to act that way, or to think about a person that way.
And just to clarify, they're stating it as if it's not normal for women or females or girls to have thoughts like that, as if it's okay for men to have those thoughts freely, but women cannot. And I understand it, like, I'm not trying to, like, what's the word, make it as if it's like in general okay to think that way, because we're supposed to control our thoughts and control our way of thinking. But they're making it as if, a lot of people are making it as if it's disgusting if you're a woman and you think that way. Why are you thinking of somebody that way? And I'm just thinking, dude, what? Because the thing is, especially under my beliefs, with a lot of Hebrew Israelite men, they are heavy. And this is also why you will never catch me under a camp. And this is why I study by myself. And I said I don't even claim the term Hebrew Israelite. I literally just say Israelite. They end up using it as an excuse to get multiple wives and to sleep around. And they're just like, oh, I'm doing this because I want to have multiple children. They just want to put their peen in everybody and their mama. That's all it is. Like, they're lusting after multiple women and just want to have sex with multiple women, because they're coming for women and calling women dirty. And even not even just with the Hebrew Israelites, they do this in the church too. The pastors be, excuse my French, they be hoes, they be hoeing, they be going around hoeing, sleep with everybody when they mom in the congregation in the church, but yet come for women. And this took an effect on me in my way of thinking whenever it comes to like stuff like sex and lust and such, because I feel like the church does not have like a healthy conversation on this. Neither do people under my belief have a healthy conversation on this. But this is also why a lot of girls end up feeling an immense amount of guilt, and they feel foul, disgusting. You're supposed to feel conviction. Conviction does come through, but you're not supposed to feel worthless. And I said this later on in the video, but I'm just hitting it now just to clarify so you can understand what I'm saying and get what I'm going to say later on. But the thing is, this is part of the reason why a lot of women, especially, and girls especially, feel guilty. Like, it's so bad to the point where there are some women who are in marriages right now and who are believers, whether they be believers of Christ or believers of Yahusha, and they feel guilty for having sex while it's okay and while they're under marriage. Like, that's how bad it is in the church, and that's how bad it is in the truth.
Or to go into these things or look into these things, like, you just seem to have been this pure, and it's especially bad if you've gone as far as lost your virginity and you're no longer a virgin. It's especially heavy on women, and I can most definitely say this for myself, that when it did happen, I felt a large amount of guilt. Even when I was in the world and I wasn't taking my spiritual journey seriously back in like 2018, 2019, 2017 to 2019 basically, I still felt guilt. I don't feel like it's good for either of us to sit here and put a lot of pressure on women and put so much guilt and shame towards women when they slip and fall into these things. Like, y'all don't do that towards the men whatsoever. Y'all act like women aren't supposed to have any type of libido or to react or act in a sexual manner, when the thing is, we're human. Of course, there are levels of self-control. You can control yourself. You shouldn't feel guilt. You shouldn't feel shame. You should feel conviction. The enemy is guilt and shame, but the conviction is from the Ruach, or the Holy Spirit. Part of something that we need to have a better discussion about is just sex in general in the church, or even in my beliefs, because it's not talked about enough. It's so taboo. My thing is, when you slip and fall into it, it just feels like, oh my gosh, I can't be forgiven. Like, it feels like you cannot be forgiven, or like it's unforgivable. And the thing is, you shouldn't feel that way. Going back to the virginity situation, or going back to sex in general, it makes me feel bad whenever non-people who haven't had sex yet sit and look at, especially whether that be, and this is happening while I was in the truth and what I'm in right now, or while I was in Christianity, of where they'll look at people who've already had sex crazy and weird, and I'm just thinking, it's harder for us, because the thing is, we've already gone out and know how it feels. And Chloe Yasmin was talking about this. That's why I don't understand why people have such a strong, what's the word, not level of hate, but like, look at people kind of funny and crazy whenever we talk about this, because it's a natural thing for us. But also, stop sitting there acting like you're all high and mighty and better than somebody just because you hadn't had sex yet. When I do have thoughts like that coming through, or I feel tempted or something like that, I would have to force myself to get up and go work or do something. And the thing is, whenever it comes to this, I feel like it's important to have a proper conversation with things that you do struggle with. It's important to sit down and talk to y'all, have a proper conversation about it. And that's something that I'm still working on myself, because there's certain conversations that I'm kind of scared to have and I need to do. Whenever it comes to my friendships and stuff like that, throughout this journey, it especially started happening late December, early January. I've had the dreams, of course. In these dreams, y'all, I'm not gonna go into full detail about the dreams, but y'all was telling me you need to cut these people off. And that's mainly due to the fact that, of course, I was growing in my spirituality, growing with my relationship with y'all basically. But the thing is, the people that I was close to and friends with were, and I don't mean this to be in a judgy kind of, I don't want to sound judgy, because that's not my intention at all. That's never my intention, because it's just like, you do you can do whatever you want to do. But the thing is, we were not on the same level spiritually, and that's one of the problems and issues that y'all wanted to like let me know, like, yo, you need to cut these people off. And he made it very crystal clear. It was like 4 months that he was sending me dreams and showing me stuff. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. It took me too long to follow his instructions. Like, I felt bad. Like, I didn't want to do it because I felt like they would think that I had a problem with them or something. I'm over here moving myself. That I had a problem with them or something, and I don't have a problem with anybody. Like, these are like, they were good friends. Like, I loved my friends to pieces. And he showed me the faces and showed me exactly who all I had to like cut off basically, and eventually I did. I'm just like, okay, I'm done. And one of my friends did not take it too well, but a lot of my other friends did take it well. There's no hard feelings or anything like that, which is what I'm happy that it ended like in a positive way, and it wasn't hard feelings, but except for one friend who took it very negative. Actually, I got over it, and of course I went through a process of, or a season of, even now it's not that bad now I'm just chilling, a season of being alone basically and feeling lonely. Like, I didn't have anybody to hang out with. And the one friend that I do have that's here in Mississippi, she had caught COVID. She wasn't feeling good, and I really couldn't hang out or do anything with her, so I was really stuck by myself and alone. The thing is, it was like that on purpose. He did it like that on purpose, because I really needed to spend time with y'all and actually talk to y'all. And throughout that time, I learned a lot, and I did do a lot. I went through a lot. And eventually, one friend who, she doesn't live in Mississippi, however, we do talk, FaceTime each other and talk to each other, and I feel like that's one of the friends that y'all has sent towards me. And so, because I was praying, I was just like, okay, if you're telling me to cut all these people off, can I at least have like want like a friend, somebody, something. And eventually I made a friend with her, and we literally talked to each other every single day. I feel like that's one of the friends that y'all had sent towards me because he knew how I was feeling at the time, and I was like getting out of that season of loneliness. And if you are going through the process or having to deal with cutting off some friends because you're outgrowing your friends, understand that that's perfectly normal. You don't have to end things on a bad note. You do not have to end things on a nasty negative note. They can always end on a positive note and be good. But if he's telling you to cut off your friends, just go ahead and do it, because more than likely he's doing it for a reason. Not only that, you could also be guilty by association. Girl, now this next one, I'm truly ashamed of myself. I don't know what my problem was. I don't know who I thought I was. Tarot. If you watched my content long enough, you already know how I not necessarily feel about tarot, but know my experiences towards tarot and stuff like that. I have posted, I'll link that video down below in the description box. I did post a video on my main channel about my experiences with tarot. It was very traumatic. I don't know what my problem was, because that should have been enough. That was back in 2019. I told you before, this was like months, like this was like a couple months. No, this is like in June. Early June, May, I don't remember. All I know is I'm on TikTok. Ben, delete the app. I'm on TikTok, scrolling through TikTok, a tarot reading pops up. Girl, this was just based off like multiple, like 3 or 4. Like they had just randomly popped up on my timeline. Now on my timeline, I like I purposely like lifestyle content or natural hair content, but that tarot reading, it just randomly popped up. And I sat there and I just listened, not thinking much of it, like a dummy. I sat there and I listened to it. I'm just like, okay. Scroll. Another tarot reading pops up. I'm like, okay. Scroll. Another tarot reading pops up. Like, okay. I'm like, okay, Taylor, this is enough. You need to stop. And eventually it stopped, because that conviction, the rule, was just like, you need to get it together. What are you doing? I fell asleep that same night. I kid you not, I had a nightmare. I don't know what the heck my problem was or why I just sat through it and didn't click not interest. Like, I need a break. I'm mad at myself. Just like in that video and said, the dreams didn't last for as long as they did in my first situation with tarot, because in the last time I listened to tarot consistently, like a couple years ago, I literally had dreams for 30 days, like straight in a row for a straight month. Now with this dream, with this nightmare in particular, guess what we saw? We saw water, and guess what we saw? Aquatic animals. It was a shark. I'm in the water. My brother, I'm in the water. I'm on a board. No. Was I on a board, or was my brother on a board? Or were we both on a board? I can't remember. All I know is it was either one of us were on a board and we were in water. All I remember is a big body of water. I'm over here, my brother's over in the distance. I'm over here. I notice and see this fat fin poking up out the water. It's moving fast too. It's going straight to my brother. I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious, oh my goodness gracious. Before the shark could go and chomp up and kill my brother, I literally remember looking in my brother's direction. I screamed at him and said, I plead the blood of Yahushua Mashiach over you. And I said it very, very, very quickly, because the shark was moving towards him really fast. Before the shark could even get close to him to kill him, it shifted over and going into the opposite direction of my brother before it basically, like I said, chomped his head off. And after that, I woke up and I'm just thinking, oh my goodness gracious, this is exactly what you get. I don't know what you thought was gonna happen. I don't know what you thought was different, but you set yourself up. I had set myself up, but I'm happy I was able to speak over him and plead the blood over him before he was freaking killed off. Like that, I couldn't imagine seeing something like that, like in my face. Like that would have scared me and would have felt, like I said, it doesn't help that dreams feel real as heck. Secular music. As of recently, now secular music, if you're in the spam account, you already know. The whole secular music as of lately has been having is out of this world, beyond disappointing. I'm gonna read off my notes. And my spirit was suffering because of it. I could also feel myself getting weak. Roll back. When it came to the tarot situation, and even when it comes to hearing things, whenever it comes to seeing things or having something transferred through a screen or go through your ears, it can have an effect on you, and it most definitely does have an effect on me. That's why I don't know what my problem is whenever it comes to secular music, because whenever I listen to secular music, it makes me, like, my spirit feels like I could feel my spirit getting weak. I could feel myself getting weak. I get tired. It really does take an effect and have an effect on my emotions and how I feel. So it doesn't help subliminals can be put up underneath the music, whether that be secular music or non-secular music, because people, especially Christians, some of them seem to think that since it's just Christian music, it's good music. The thing, like, it's good, like positive music. And even then, there are some people who make secular music who don't add subliminals or don't do anything bad. Same thing for Christian music, but with both of them, they can have stuff underneath it that can affect your spirit and that could affect how you feel. For example, The Weeknd, not saying that he puts stuff underneath his music, but it could be with the hurts of his music, especially if you're saying the lyrics too. That doesn't help either. Or with you constantly hearing negative stuff over and over and over again, it can truly have an effect on you and make you sad. I remember I used to listen to The Weeknd back in like 2017, 2018, and a little bit of 2019 consistently. A girl was sad. It's crazy because you have to be careful. Not saying saying that if you are a believer of any sort that you have to stop listening to secular music. I'm not the one to tell you that, because I remember people would always ask me all the time, do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? I don't tell you to do anything. That's not my choice. It's not my decision for you. I can only work and deal with me and deal with for myself. If you have a simple question, a simple basic question is like, oh, what book do you like? What kind of Bible do you read? Then yeah, I can answer that question. And even then, whenever it comes to other things, I automatically tell people, do not come to me whatsoever whenever it comes to asking any type of question when it comes to spirituality and stuff, because I'm not going to have the answer. It's either that Bible or it's either him upstairs, because I'm not going to be able to answer everything. Not only that, whenever it comes to you going around asking people, hey, what's your opinion on this? Hey, what's your opinion on that? It doesn't matter my opinion. It doesn't matter so-and-so's opinion. It doesn't matter what that pastor's opinion is. He could be the best pastor in the world. If it's not from y'all or from the source, it doesn't matter. And this is where I messed up a lot throughout my spiritual journey within the past years, going around asking people or looking on YouTube or like looking for answers in places that I shouldn't have been looking for answers for. And so I was very confused on certain things and getting very frustrated when I should have went straight to the source. I've gotten to the habit of going straight to y'all about specific things. Say for example, when it comes to secular music, and if you want answers on that, ask him and he will provide the answers for you. Those are the main things that I dealt with whenever it comes to backsliding. And after each and every single one of them, the devil made sure he made me feel guilty, tried to make me feel horrible after falling and slipping into these things, and tried to make me feel like crap when it should have been, I shouldn't have been feeling that way. Yes, I am most definitely in the wrong, and conviction should come into play in order to, like, from the Ruach, conviction should come into play to let me know, hey, this isn't that and the third, this isn't good, this isn't good, this isn't that, and da 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 da. But that guilt and feeling like crap, no, we don't do that. And also, I remember, and this was quick too, and this was when I was slipping, and y'all was telling me, I don't know what my problem was. I was not listening. And he was telling me, you need to get it together. You need to get it together. Like, this isn't good. This isn't good. And I remember falling asleep that night. I hadn't prayed. I didn't read my Bible. I was just, and I felt sad too. Thinking, I woke up. Like, my physical body didn't wake up, but I felt like my spirit, I'm just like, whoop, I'm up, I'm looking around, and I'm just like, as if it was like astral projection or something like that. And I'm just up, I'm looking around, and I'm just like, Like, I'm just looking around like, okay, I'm looking at my room and looking at my space. Physically, before I closed my eyes and shut my eyes and went to sleep, my room was clean, like how it is now. It was like physically clean. Spiritually, that's what my eyes like open, even though my physical didn't open. My physical eyes didn't open, my spiritual eyes were open. I'm up, I'm lifted up, I'm looking around my room and stuff like that. My room is disgusting, beyond disgusting, dirty. Like, trash all over the floor, trash can toppled over, stuff all up on my desk, my dresser, yeah, like my dresser messed up, perfumes everywhere, scrunchies all over the place, jewelry everywhere, stuff on the floor, clothes on the floor, food wrapper over on my other, like my nightstand, my bed was sloppy, closet was a mess. Like, my room looked disgusting. And it took me a minute to register what was going on and happening in that moment in time, but eventually I had physically woken up. It clicked immediately. The Ruach was like, they clicked immediately. Not physical, like not literal words, because sometimes the Ruach does speak to me and say words to me whenever I wake up from a dream in order to provide that interpretation. But I didn't even have to hear anything to understand what y'all was trying to show me and tell me. He was showing me, this is what I see whenever I look at, like, this is what I see whenever I see you slipping and falling. Like, this is what your space looks like. This is what you look like. Like, everything looks defiled, everything looks disgusting when you slip and when you fall and when you mess up and allow things to creep back in. And I'm very grateful that I wasn't able to see spiritually what was going on around me. I could certainly feel it. Like, I could certainly feel things and feel what's going on around me spiritually, but I'm happy that I'm not able to, because that's just horrifying just to see stuff like that. Spiritually, what was going on around me was not good, and that's what he saw. He wanted me to see what he saw. Hi, I'm in a completely different outfit. I had to go out. I've been filming for a quite long time. I don't know how long this video was going to be, but we can go in and move to our next point. I'm looking at my notes. Really negative thoughts and a negative mindset. Lately, I have been praying and asking about y'all to help shift my mind to a more positive way of thinking and an abundant mindset, mainly because I think back, and I was talking to my spam account about this too, of where I felt bad for talking, like for asking for specific things. From, like, I will go to y'all and I'd be like, oh, can I have some money for this and that and the third, or could I help with this and that? Or I would feel bad about praying over my channel. Like, it's over like small stuff, or not even just small stuff, big stuff. big stuff in general. But the thing is, he's told us and asked us, you can ask, like, go ahead and ask for what you want, to ask for what you need. Even though he already knows what we need, it still doesn't hurt to go and ask. And I would feel bad for asking, especially whenever it comes to money. Or I would write down, like, in my prayer journal, I ask, hey, can you help me with this financial situation and da 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 this and da 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 that. Even though yes, he would help me, I would still feel bad. And the thing is, I feel like a lot of that really does come from back when I used to be in Christianity, and I'm slowly shifting out of the Christian mindset, because it takes a long time. And like I told y'all, I used to be Christianity for a very long time. Like, I was little for a very long time, so it's still a lot of things that are still like stuck, and I'm slowly unlearning those things. People saying, oh, the money is the root of all like evil and stuff like that, when it's just like, no, the love for money is the root of all evil. I shouldn't feel bad for praying and asking for stuff. Like, it's really not that deep. Not only that, we need money in this world in particular to like function and to just move and to be able to do what we want to do. So what's wrong with me praying and asking for it? Or I would feel bad for wanting just nice things in general, when I shouldn't feel that way. And I remember I asked on my spam account how I was explaining how I felt, and a lot of y'all had came to me and said that y'all felt the same way. My thing is, we shouldn't feel that way, and that's why I went and asked him, could you help me move to a more positive way of thinking in an abundant mindset, because I don't need to be thinking this way.
And here I am real quick. I don't know why I forgot this, because it was in my notes. Basically, two things whenever it comes to my way of thinking. I can't remember, because I'm filming this clip in particular like days later compared to when I filmed the video that you're watching right now. Whenever it comes to my thoughts and my way of thinking, it's just like, of course, it's way more positive whenever I'm reading my Bible, whenever I'm studying. I'm in a more of abundant and positive mindset. I kind of sort of hit that in the video. But compared to when I'm not reading my Bible and I'm not in my scripts, I tend to, and I don't know if it's because it's the demons, the spirits, or whatever it is, it's just like, I'll be so upset or angry with myself, or I begin to go into the part of being insecure or like being upset with myself, or I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're a freaking failure. And that's one thing I kept hearing over and over and over and over and over again while through the process of me backsliding and stuff like that, and not going into my words and scripts. You're a effing, they would say like, you're a effing failure, you're a effing failure. And I would be so confused, and I'm just thinking, that's not me. I'm not really mean. I'm not mean to myself. I've never talked to myself like that. I've never been rude to myself. I've never said such horrid things towards myself. So I'm just thinking, okay, that's a spiritual attack, because normally I'm able to have control of my thoughts and have a more positive way of thinking. But when I slip, it's not pretty. It is not pretty whatsoever. And I want to know, is anybody else like that, or can anybody else relate when it comes to stuff like
dealing
that?
with the world compared to dealing with spiritual things. So what I mean by this is, say for example, when it comes to worldly things, not like negative worldly things, but like say for example, when it comes to careers, whenever it comes to jobs, when it comes to school, marriage and stuff like that, yes, I would like to work towards those things and get those things, yes. But on the other end, there's also me working to get my spiritual life together and getting my spirit in check. They're in check for when everything just pulls together, basically. And I remember talking to him and stressing him. I'm just thinking, how do you expect me to be able to sit here and to get my life together, and be able to move, because I'm finally entering into like official adulthood. Like, I'll be 20 next year, and how am I going to be able to deal with all of that as I'm going through this transition, all while focusing and dealing on my spiritual life and getting myself in balance and in check spiritually? And he also told me find a balance. I sometimes feel like I'm scared, and I try to catch myself with this. I get really scared with this because I don't want to get too wrapped up in the things that are going on with me from the world, and just pushing what I have to do and what I have to deal with in the back, like pushing my spiritual life and other things that I have to deal with spiritually on the back burner. This is why he told me to find a balance. But sometimes I just think, oh my goodness gracious. And then it doesn't help that when it comes to things like marriage, or when it comes to things like me wanting a career, which it's fine for us to want those things, I still feel bad for one of those things. I'm just thinking, things are wrapping up, the trumpets are blowing and going, and you're over here worried about thinking about doing this and then the third. Like, you need to get it together. What is your problem? And again, he told me, find a balance. Everything will be okay. You'll be able to get things together. Just find a balance. And I'm trying to find a balance. It's just so hard. And I remember talking about this, and a lot of older people being like, oh, everything will be okay, it'll be much better, everything will be. I'm just thinking, this is very easy for you to say, considering the fact that you're 50. You've already gone through a good chunk of life. You've gotten married, you've had children, you have a career. Let's talk repetitive numbers and crystals. People call them angel numbers. I don't call them angel numbers, but I have been seeing repetitive numbers everywhere. Now, when I really started seeing repetitive numbers was late February, early March. I remember the first time I saw the repetitive numbers too, like my first first set of repetitive numbers. I thought I was tripping. Look up at my computer and I see it says on the clock 333. Now at first, when I first saw the numbers, I was like, am I doing something wrong? Is there a problem? I'm like, what is this? And then throughout the day, as the day went on, I saw them more and more and more and more. Then after that, weeks later, they started popping up even more than what they normally do. And now every single day I at least see 20 to 30 plus repetitive numbers every single day. I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I've seen 6, 7, and 8, and 9. It also shows me 144. With that being said, something I want to point out, because there has been a point of where I posted, whenever I see the numbers, it's like reassurance to me, and I'll get to that. I post the numbers and put the numbers up on my social media platform, or I post them on my Instagram story. It was nothing but Christians who were coming for me and telling me, oh my God, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, what are you doing? And it was like, some of them were nice, but some of them were also mean. I'm just thinking, first of all, I'm not Christian. I've already explained this to y'all. Second of all, there's nothing wrong with repetitive numbers. Now, something I will say this, because at first I thought it was a problem, something was wrong with me when I first saw it. I'm just thinking, is the enemy trying to come for me and da da da? When it's just like, no. Like, God speaks to people in numbers too. God speaks to people in numbers too. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. So that's why I didn't understand why people were coming for me when I did post those numbers and put those numbers up, and it pissed me off, because I'm just thinking, these numbers he shows me, it speaks to me like this all the time. That's how he shows me reassurance and gives me reassurance on specific things. And it's just like, I'm just thinking, girl, you do not have to explain yourself or prove yourself to anybody, but I'm just here. I'm saying, because this is like one of the things I feel like it's important. And these numbers, like, they really do mean a lot to me and tell me a lot whenever he shows me these numbers. Now, I don't necessarily go online and try to look up the numbers and stuff like that. No, I go and I sit on my bed. I'm over here like to myself. I'm in solitude and I'm praying. I'm trying to listen, because with each number, it's like a phrase that he has for me. I'm not gonna say what each number means for me because they're very personal. So far, I've learned 1, 3, and 144. I've recently learned what those mean and what phrase he tells me. The Ruach tells me a phrase that goes with each of them, and I go through and I look in my Bible. I try to find what each of those numbers. I don't personally go by myself and go based off where I think I should go. I ask the Ruach, okay, where do you want me to go for here? Where do you want me to go for this number? Where do you want me to go for that number? If he leads me to Psalms, it leads me to Psalms. If it leads me to Ezekiel, I go to Ezekiel. If it leads me to Revelation, I go to Revelation, and I find what each of them mean. And throughout, as I'm going through the chapters and I'm trying to find a word that's associated with these numbers, or a phrase that's associated with these numbers, I noticed that there's a repetitive word in each chapter, each like verse that I'm reading, and I write it down. I'm just like, okay, this is what that means. Now, I'm not gonna be on here and tell y'all what each of them mean for me personally, because they're personal for me. But just because something means something for me doesn't necessarily mean that's what it's gonna mean for another person, because he shows each person different numbers. So with that being said, if you are seeing repetitive numbers, there's nothing wrong, because that's something that they used to talk about all the time in Christianity, like, oh, something's wrong with angel numbers. I don't call them angel numbers, but there's literally a book of numbers in the Bible.
Not only that, it's repetitive numbers in Revelation if you actually pay attention. 777 is a big number in Revelation. Just want to let you know.
Please calm down. Now, when it comes to crystals, and I know somebody was probably looking at my neck the whole time. And I remember, again, I posted a picture of myself with my crystal. People were coming for me, and I'm just thinking, first of all, I'm not even Christian. What is going on? But the thing is, due to Christianity, and I was even stuck in this mindset, hence why I didn't even tap or touch crystals when I first left Christianity, because again, I was stuck in that mindset and I'm slowly trying to get out of it. It's nothing wrong with crystals. The only thing is, it's people who charge crystals and touch, like, do other things with crystals, when the thing is, we're not supposed to be charging crystals. We're not supposed to be trying to cleanse crystals. You also have to be careful as to who you get your crystals from. If you're a Christian or if you're Hebrew, you do not need to be doing something like that, obviously. But that's part of the reason why a lot of people are Christians, especially, or even under my belief, who are skeptical about crystals, because of how people who are not in our belief work with crystals. The thing is, I don't charge them. I don't cleanse them. I get them how they are, and they do what they're supposed to do. If he leads me to a particular crystal and tells me to get a certain crystal for something, then yeah, I'll go and get it, and get it for that. I don't do anything to them. I just leave them be. And now, with this being said, people were also calling crystals demonic. Crystals are not demonic, but it also really goes to show that even myself, I used to be closed-minded whenever it comes to the subject of crystals, or whenever it came to angel numbers or repetitive numbers and stuff like that in general, because of how the world worked with it. When you have to get out of that mindset and get out of that way of thinking, it's just crazy how closed-minded a lot of people can be, me included. Like I said, y'all ain't the only one. But the thing is, if crystals really were demonic, he wouldn't have had Levites put crystals in their breastplate. Not only that, he also has different types of crystals and stones surrounded and set up around his throne. Like, if crystals really are demonic, why would he even even have them anywhere near the Levites or near his throne or set up within his kingdom in any way, shape, or form. Like what's demonic? And they're not demonic. It's just people are very close-minded with them. There's nothing wrong with them as long as you do not idolize, worship the creation, or you're charging or trying to cleanse them. There's nothing wrong with them. And it took me forever to get out of that mindset. I'm really disappointed in myself for being so close-minded. I'm horrified. Okay. My struggles with my sexuality as I've grown up, especially between the ages of 14 or 16 years old, have been very, very, very hard for me, and forever. I'm about to cry. Oh my god. Now I'm very scared to talk about this, especially considering the fact that sometimes my family comes and watches my stuff. I doubt they'll watch this though. I hope they don't watch it. And from 14 up to now, I've been pushing. My heart is pounding. I've been pushing and not wanting to deal or talk about this, but I also did promise y'all and tell y'all that I would be more personal and more honest with you guys on my channel, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Like, I don't see a problem with this whatsoever. I'm just kind of scared because I don't know how people would react. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. So basically, all throughout, of course, throughout my life, I've been attracted to men, but I've also have an attraction to women. For a very, very, very long time, I've never really wanted to sit here and talk to anybody about this because I felt uncomfortable. Growing up, I noticed and saw how, I'm about to cry. Where was I? Oh my god, I forgot where I was. I'm so sorry. I'm looking down at my notes. Like I said, I was too scared to tell anybody because I saw growing up how, while I was in Christian, like growing up how, because back then, even though I had basically not necessarily left, because when I was 14 to 15, 16, because when I was 14, 15 years old, my mother, we still went to church and stuff like that, and I noticed and recognized how people in the church would treat people who were part of the LGBTQ plus community. And like I said, I struggled with this between really the ages of 14 to 16, and I pushed it to the side. And even then, to this day, like even then, up until now actually, I pushed. I'm just like, you know what, we're not gonna deal with it, we're not gonna talk about it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk about it because I felt uncomfortable, because this is very taboo. But the thing is, it's just, oh my god, why am I crying? Please help me, y'all. Please help me. I don't need to be crying right now. I hate crying on camera. That's so embarrassing. It is so embarrassing. But through this, and through my upbringing, that's also part of the reason why I pushed it to the side, because it's seen as a sin. And even when it comes to having sex outside of marriage between a heterosexual couple, that's seen as a sin. So when it came to things like sex, and this is also part of the reason why, like I said, I was stuck in a Christian mindset. When I did lose my virginity, I felt an extreme amount of guilt. Now on top of that, me being attracted to women, that didn't help either. So it was really hard for me to deal with. The people online have come for me, even though I've literally said nothing to anybody, or DM'd me and messaged me. If I'm just thinking, why do you think that, even though I hadn't mentioned it or said it to anybody, I was too scared to tell anybody because I was scared of how people would receive me. And it also didn't help how, say for example, on my main channel, I do put up Bible verses and stuff like that. People are going to be like, oh, how are you, even though I'm not Christian anymore, how are you a Christian doing this and that and the third?
And I'm saying this because y'all would truly be surprised as to how many people leave, not necessarily, what's the word, rude comments or condescending comments towards me about my tone of voice, or like how I react in comments, or like a certain piece of cloth that I wear, saying, oh, Christians can't wear this and another, even though I've literally explained on my channel multiple times and have said that I was not. And I literally hate repeating myself. So it really ticks me off when there are people who don't even know me, have not watched my channel long enough or been around long enough, who do assume I'm Christian. That's a given. I understand that. But on top of that, and those people coming for me, there are also Christians who do come for me and say crazy things towards me about, say for example, when it came to the repetitive numbers, or when it came to me wearing crystals. And it just really ticks me off, because it's just like boom, 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 people are coming for me. And it makes me not even want to like interact or even talk or communicate or comment stuff or read the comments or anything like that, because it's constantly people saying stuff towards me. Like, it's overwhelming. Are you a Christian over here doing this and that and the third? And I really did not want that, and I would not want to sit over here and repeat myself over and over and over again, talking about, no, I'm not a Christian, no, this and that and the third. And so with this being said, y'all, this took a lot for me to say. I was even debating on whether or not I even wanted to say this, and I'm scared as to how people are going to take this, especially whenever it comes to people who I know who will probably watch this video. I remember all throughout high school, my friends would pick at me, or not necessarily pick at me, they tried to be funny about it or say specific things towards me, and I'd be like, ha ha,
no, deep down it was yes. Also, like I mentioned before, I said I wanted to talk to y'all. This is one of the conversations I wanted to have with y'all, and I've yet to properly sit and talk and have this conversation with him because I'm scared. And I'm eventually going to get out of being scared because there's nothing for me. I'm sorry, I keep taking off my glasses, they keep messing up. There's nothing for me to be scared about, but I do need to talk to him about it, and I don't need to just keep pushing it under the rug.
So I forgot to mention it because this part I didn't look at my notes that much. I literally glanced at my notes a couple times and went straight off the dome from the majority of it. I wanted to talk about, or hop back up in here and talk about the dream that I mentioned earlier when I was in the park and I had gone through the first entrance. If you remember, you remember the first entrance, and I was going up the hill, and the two girls who were on the golf cart, and one of the girls came up to me and asked to volunteer to have sex with me. Basically, this is why, because for a long time, even though I can sit here and completely ignore it and push it to the side and pretend like it doesn't exist, the spirits are very much aware and understand and know what I'm struggling and going through and struggling with, and what I'm dealing with, and what I have to face and what I have not faced. They know how I am. They know who I am. Not only that, remember I mentioned before, monitoring spirits. They monitor and keep up with stuff like that. So that's one of the things that they were coming at me and were trying to get at me about, because that isn't the first time a woman has ever come up to me to volunteer, has tried to have sex with me in a dream ever. And like, this is a lot for me because I've never told anybody this ever, but I'm being very vulnerable and very honest with y'all right now, because not only that, there have been a lot of people who have DM'd me about this. It's a lot of people who are dealing with this and going through this, and like I said, I don't want to go into the comfort conversation, but I also want y'all to understand you're literally not the only one,
because this is a serious discussion that I need to have with him. I don't feel like, even though yes, I'm close to my mom, I don't feel like I don't even think I can have this conversation with my mom. And I tell my mom everything. I literally tell my mom everything. We're like this. We're so close. I've only told one person who's close to me, and that's the one friend I still have down here in Mississippi. She was just like, oh my gosh, everything's okay. Everything will be okay. She said, Taylor, because she's not religious. She doesn't believe any type of higher power or anything like that. She just said, forget it. I'm just thinking, it's not that simple. It's really not that simple. And I feel like it's not even just people under my belief, but I feel like a lot of Christians have dealt with this as well, but they're too scared to say anything because of how uncomfortable people are to talk about this subject. That's one thing I really wanted to get off my chest, and I wanted to tell y'all because I wanted to be honest, and I felt like, not necessarily, I kind of felt like a phony not saying or mentioning anything to you guys. I'm shaking, but that was a lot. And I think that's everything. I think I've said everything and said what all I wanted to say. I have no clue how long this video is, and I'm scared that it's probably gonna be a good length to edit. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. If you want to talk about your spiritual journey, whatever's going on and happening with you currently, let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.